And then notice how you feel this morning, just as far as how your mind feels, like what's going through your head here. Maybe you've got something you're really focused on today. And notice what your energy level is like this morning. And then begin to notice your breath. So just noticing it as it is right now, feeling it come in and feeling it go out. And then if you want to, you could begin to widen your inhale. So as you inhale, can you feel your rib cage expand three-dimensionally? And then as you exhale, could you lengthen your exhale? And you might even just breathe out through your mouth at first, allowing really blowing out like you're blowing out through a straw slowly. And then repeating that. And so as we begin our practice, I'm just moving through what's called the koshas, which are the layers or sheaths of a person. We started with the physical body, and then we went into the mental and emotional, checking in. And then we're checking in with our energetic bodies, the prana layer, which is your vitality and your breath. So as we practice, we work with all the layers of ourselves, right? But we can always focus on different parts at any time. And then if you're still breathing through your mouth, you could always try breathing in and out through your nose, doing the same thing. So this big inhale, wide inhale, and then a long exhale. And at the end of the exhale, you might just bend your knees if they're not bent already. And try to feel the abdominals turn on a little bit at the end of your exhale. And just notice how when you get all your breath out, the abdominals will engage a little bit naturally. And that will allow, when you get all your breath out, that will allow for a bigger breath the next time, a bigger inhale. Let's just try another one of those, and you can keep this breath throughout your practice if it works for you. And you might just bring to mind a little bit of an intention for yourself today. For example, is there anything physically that you're taking care of today or you're aware of in your body, your physical body? Or maybe you're more focused on something that's emotional or mentally focused, like stress release or something else, finding clarity. Just let whatever it is come to mind. And then just sort of let it go. Know that it's there. We'll touch back in with it in a little while. And then as you're ready, let's exhale to bring your right knee in towards your belly. And you can hold behind the leg if you can reach. And we'll inhale, straighten the leg up toward the ceiling. So yeah, you can just interlace your hands behind your thigh there. And then let's bend the leg again. And we'll just repeat that, sort of warming up the back of the leg. Your ankle can be doing whatever you want. So it could be flexed, or it could be relaxed, or it could even be pointed. Good. Now, if you want to, you could straighten out the left leg on the floor and see how that feels for you. Let's do a couple more, staying with your breath. So we're inhaling to straighten and exhaling to bend. Good. Now, the next time you get that leg up there and straight, let's leave the leg. And could you let go with your arms and just let them rest at your sides? Now let's start to roll the ankle around in a circle here. And now imagine you're standing on the floor with your left leg. So let's press through the heel of the left foot as though it were on the floor. And then roll the ankle in the other direction as well. And just notice when you stop breathing, right? Keep breathing. Relax the ankle. And as you inhale, can you take your hand lower ribs where they meet your belly and feel those ribs expand? Long exhale, feel your core engage. Good. And you can spread the arms out to the sides now. And as you take your next inhale, can you take your leg out to the right a little bit? And then keep the core engaged. Exhaling, bring the leg back to center. And we're just going to repeat that motion. So as you inhale, you're going out to the right. And as you exhale, begin the exhale, keep the abdominals engaged and move the leg and repeat. Good. Keep going, you guys. And the focus here is on, can you stabilize with your core? So as your leg is moving, can you start to notice when you go out to the right, is there a point where your core kind of loses it, your hips tip? Maybe don't go as far, right? Just notice, where is that point? And can you soften through your jaw and your tongue? Good. And then maybe you leave it out there for a few breaths. And if you've got that left leg straight, and you don't have to, but if you do have that left leg straight, you're kind of in half moon pose. If you remember what that is, and we'll do it later, right? It's up like this. You're sort of in that right now on your back. Okay. Okay, on your next exhale, bring that leg back up to center. Just bend the knee in towards your belly. Let's give it a squeeze. And then let's place the foot on the floor and straighten out both legs. Just going to notice how they feel different. Take an in breath and an out breath. And then let's inhale, bend both knees, and exhale, bring the left leg in, holding behind the leg. And we'll start these bending and straightening. So just inhale, straighten it up, and exhale, bend. Again, you can do whatever you want with the ankle here. So I want to encourage you as we go through our practice today to move in a way that feels curious to you, right? To just not trying to do anything right. Your poses look a certain way, but instead really feeling into your own body, becoming more aware of what feels right to you, maybe getting a little adventurous, exploring what different movements feel like. And the next time you get that leg up there, you could leave it there and start rolling the ankle, maybe letting go with your arms. You could even straighten out that right leg on the floor if you want. As long as you feel like you can stabilize yourself with your core. And reaching through that right heel if the leg is straight, like you're standing on the floor. And rolling the ankle in the opposite direction. Just keep breathing. And then you can let the ankle be still. And if you want to, you could spread your arms out to the sides. Wait for your breath, and let's use an inhale to take that leg out to the left a little. And then begin your exhale, engage your abdominals, and bring the leg back up. And just repeat that on your own timing. Remember, here, I'm inviting you to explore how your core stabilizes this movement of your limbs. Good. Now, the next time, if you want to leave it out there, you could for a few breaths. Good. And then exhale, begin the exhale, bring it up. You can bend the knee, give it a squeeze. And then release that foot down to the floor, straightening out the leg, just noticing the two sides for a moment. Following your breath in and following your breath out. And then we're gonna reach for our block. And just bend your knees once you get your block. And we're gonna put our hands on the short ends of the block, right? Like this, yeah. And just reach it straight up toward the ceiling first, okay? So your arms are gonna stay like that. And then as you exhale, can you exhale and just lift your feet and your hips off the floor, like you're rocking them up and then back down. And you can use the exhale to rock up. So you can exhale, lift. Okay, now I'm going to invite you to try straightening the legs and tapping the block with your toes. You might not be able to do it, okay, and you might. Okay, so just explore. And hopefully you're already feeling your core work here. It has to work to be able to kind of tuck the tail and lift it up. Good, let's do one more. And then just take a break, bend the knees and place your feet on the floor. You can put your block on your belly. And if you want to, you can watch me for a moment. Okay, you can either just listen or you can watch, whatever works for your learning. Okay, so the options are always going to be, you can stay right with what you were doing. If this is enough work for you, just stay with it. Okay, if you want to try something more, you can be here, right? We tapped with straight or straight-ish legs. And then I'm going to use this as one long exhale and lower my legs without like arching my back or anything. Lowering them just as far as I feel like I can. Inhale, and then I'm going to exhale, tap again, and repeat. Okay, so you can stick with what you were doing or you can add that on. And then eventually we'll be taking the block further overhead. Okay, so make sure you got space above you. Right. When you're ready, arms reach up. And then as you exhale, just lift your feet up and maybe you keep the knees bent and lift the hips, or maybe you straighten them. And if you're tapping and you want to try lowering the legs, just keep breathing, lower the legs down somewhat, and then come back up again. So what I'm doing is I'm exhaling as I tap and lower, and then I take an inhale. And I don't know about you guys, but for me, my core's already tired. Okay, so I'm already feeling it, really engaging your belly, drawing the belly down as you're trying to lower the legs. Good. And then after you feel pretty fatigued, just take a break, right? And rest the block on your belly because we're going to do a few more in a moment. So just take a break, a couple of breaths. And then it's up to you. We're going to do another set. Right? What you could do is the same thing you just did, or you might try to take the block further overhead, right? So now I've just got it anywhere in between the ceiling and the floor, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm trying to go slowly on the way down, which is hard. So I'm just going to let my breath continue. I just decided to start inhaling when I lift. That gives me more exhale on the way down. Right? So slow, slow, slow as you bring the legs to whatever level you're bringing them to. Good, you guys. Keep drawing belly down. Nice. So get yourself to a good point of fatigue where you're like, I really don't want to do this anymore. And then try to do one or two more after that. And then take a break. And when you get to that point, when you're taking a break, just place your block to the side. You can spread out the arms and windshield wiper the knees side to side, widening the feet, knees are bent. Just let the breath flow. Notice how you feel through your belly. And welcome you guys that joined in online. Good to see you. Just side to side. Good, and then coming back to center with your knees. Let's take our blankets out of the way if you have one below your head, that is. Set up for a bridge pose. So feet about hips distance, arms wherever they feel best. And then inhale. For this bridge pose, we're going to tuck the tail forward, engage the glutes and lift the hips. And then exhale, roll back down. And we'll just repeat that a few times here. Okay, so rolling up. You can allow your abdominal area to stretch out if you want, instead of sinking it down like we normally do. Giving yourself a little bit of a stretch after all that abdominal work. And you'll notice we're moving the hips in the opposite way too than we just were, right? Instead of hip flexion, where we're lifting and bending thighs toward belly, we're now going into hip extension, right? Your hips are lifting. Good. Next time you come down, let's pause and get your block. We're going to put that block, and those that were here with me last week, it's similar to what we did. If you weren't, don't worry about it. We're going to put it down by your feet. But instead of having your feet where they would be for a normal bridge, we're going to move them a little further away. So your legs are more, maybe they're at a 90-degree bend or a little wider. I'm just going to put the heels on them. Okay. Now, if you want to, you can watch me first if you've never done this. So I've got my heels here, and I'm going to inhale, tuck my tail, engage my glutes, press into my heels. And I'm going to keep my ribs sinking down. So I really start to feel this in the hamstrings and the butt. And then I'm going to lower down. You might get a hamstring cramp if you're not used to doing these things, or even if you are, okay? So just be aware you can just come out and stretch. I'm going up on the inhale, and then I'm taking a long exhale with control to lower. And just be aware of yourself engaging your glutes, engaging those hamstrings. Good, you guys, next time you come down, there's an option, and we did this option last week too, which is to do this one-legged. So if you're finding this already challenging enough, you're going to stick with 2 legs, okay? Because this one amps up the challenge, okay? But if you want to do one leg, you put your one heel on the block and the other leg is bent with the foot on the floor. And I come up the same way. I'm just lifting one leg as I do it. So I'm going to inhale, tuck my tail, press into my standing leg and come up, and whoo, that gets my hamstring. And I come back down, right? You just stretch it out, you just do it, especially in the morning when it's cold like this. You can come up again, and you could try 3 on each leg if you're doing it this way, nice and slowly with control. And again, if it's too much, you just do the 2 legs. So we're focusing on the lower body today, hips, hamstrings, quads, all sorts of fun stuff I got planned for you. Okay, after you do your 3 on one side, do the other side. If you're doing both legs, you can always play around or go back to normal bridge with both feet on the floor. And isn't it interesting? My legs are very different side to side. I don't know about yours. But just noticing that, getting curious about that. Did you guys, and when you finish up with this, it would be nice to do some sort of modified happy baby pose. You could bring your knees in and wrap the arms around the outer knees, or you could reach up for the feet. It might feel good on the hamstrings right now, taking a few breaths there. And maybe reminding yourself of your intentions again. You know, it was something physical you're focusing on, or something mental, emotional. Just coming back to it for a moment. Good. And as you're ready, we're going to take that block now and we're just going to slip it beneath our sacrum, so your hips, your pelvis, your back. And you could do it on either the medium height or the low height. I'm going to do the medium. Just slip it underneath and then take a breath there. Okay, see if it feels okay in your low back. Take a big inhale and exhale. And now just really feel your left footprint into the floor, like the ball and heel of your left foot. And could you bring your right foot off the floor just with the knee bent? And then inhale, you can straighten that right leg up to the ceiling if you want. Okay, so it could be bent or straight here. Can you still feel your left foot pressing into the floor? And now, as you're ready, just inhale, taking that right leg slightly out to the right. And then exhale, bring it back to the center. Good, and repeat. So you're inhaling, going out. Good, and exhale, coming back with control. And you want to feel like your block is in a place that's supporting you. So if you need to move it around, just bring both feet back down and move it around. And just notice where you feel this in your body, this movement. Good. And the next time you come back up, you can bend the knee, place the foot down on the floor, notice the two sides, adjust your block if you need to. Take an inhale there. And then as you exhale, let's feel your right footprint into the floor. You don't have to overly press, you guys, right? Just noticing the foot and bring the other leg in. And then inhale, extend the left leg up. Good, and exhale, notice how this feels. Then you can start to take that leg a little bit out to the side, to the left. And as you exhale, bringing it back. Repeat. Noticing if this side feels different than the first side. And next time you come back to the center, you can bend the knee, placing the foot on the floor, noticing for a moment. And as you're ready, pressing into both feet, engaging your glutes, lift off of your block and exhale, lowering down. And slipping the block out of the way, first, and then you could windshield wiper the knees a few times. And then let's come back to center with the knees. And we're just going to bring that right knee in towards your belly. You can straighten out that left leg if it feels okay. Now, holding behind the right knee, could you take the foot toward the ceiling like you're doing a lunge on the ceiling? Yes, so the knee's still bent, but the sole of the foot faces the ceiling. You got it. And now can you take your right hand and reach either for the outer shin, ankle, or maybe even the pinky toe side of the foot? Okay, just whatever you can reach comfortably. And then bend that right knee like it's coming down towards your right armpit. Okay, sole of the foot facing the ceiling. So if that's why you can just hold the outer shin, it might be hard to reach the foot. Now from here, inhaling. And as you exhale, start to let the left knee bend a little. The heel will just slide on the floor. And then rock to your right, tapping the right knee down to the floor. And if you've never done this, you can watch me and see what I'm doing. And then I just rock back. I'm going to let my breath flow here. And you want to put a little pressure with your foot into your hand or your leg into your hand, like you're trying to bring it toward the ceiling. and your hand into your leg. Good, you guys, you got the idea. It's like you're tapping it and trying to keep the foot facing the ceiling, although that may be impossible. Okay, just the idea of it. And you're getting, hopefully, this feeling that you're really working the hip right down toward the hip joint, like getting all that muscle, all those muscles to engage. Good. Now, next time you come to the center, you're going to take the left hand to the sole of the foot. And now the leg is kind of coming across your chest. And now we'll tap that foot. You can extend the right arm out to the side. It's going to keep the knee bent and tap the foot on the floor over to the left. And then come back to the center and repeat. Your left leg can be however you want it to be. It could be straight, it could be bent. Just coming into a twist and then back to the center. Keep breathing. And now next time you come back to the center, let's bring the knee back towards the chest and then release the foot to the floor, straightening out both legs, and just notice the two sides. Following your breath in and out. Good, and now inhale, let's stretch arms overhead and reach through the legs at the same time. And exhale, let's bring the left knee in towards your belly. Hold it with your hands for a moment here. And now we'll hold behind the leg and keeping it bent, just take the foot so the sole of the foot faces the ceiling. And now holding the outer left shin with your hand or the ankle or the foot, releasing the right arm down. Now let the right knee start to bend as you rock towards your left, trying to tap the knee down on the floor and then back to center. And as you do this, can you press the foot upward like it's trying to break free from your hand as you pull down with your hand? You guys, and just breathing as you do this, your breath can flow. Just notice where you feel this the most in your body. Right? Letting yourself move in a way that feels beneficial to you. And the next time that you come back to the center, we're going to switch to the second one. So we'll take our right hand to the sole of your foot. The knee stays bent and the shin is kind of parallel to your chest. Left arm can go out to the side. And now we're tapping the foot down over on the right on the floor like a twist and coming back to the center. Again, your breath is just moving along. Couple more. And then coming back to the center, let's just draw the knee in toward the belly, holding the shin or the knee. Inhale for a moment. And then exhale, release. Foot to floor, straightening out the leg. Following your breath in and out. And then let's inhale, stretch arms overhead again. And exhale, let's bring both knees in towards your belly. Just give them a squeeze. Good. Now your choice, you can hold behind your legs, curl up into a ball and rock up, or you could roll to your side and press yourself up. You're gonna come onto hands and knees. Now, if you wanna pad your knees here, you could, so feel free to do that. I'm gonna do that. Okay. And at first, just move through some cats and cows. And you can do these however you want to do them, right? If you want to move around in spirals or move the hips, feel free. Good, you guys. And then once you're ready to, let's just find a more structured tabletop pose, more of a neutral spine. And I'm gonna inhale as I lift my right knee, bring it out to the side as though I'm bringing it toward my right shoulder. And then I'm going to exhale, bring it around to the left, straightening it out, putting the toes on the floor and looking over my left shoulder. And then repeat. So I'm just moving in this way, kind of moving this right hip all around and stabilizing with my left. You don't have to keep hips square or anything like that. And if you need to be on forearms, you can always be on forearms. Yeah, that's it, you guys. Now, this next time that you straighten out the leg, let's stay there for a moment. Notice if it feels okay to look at it with your neck or if you want to look somewhere else. Take another breath there. And now let's bring that leg over to the right on the floor. So just kind of straight out to the right. Now, really protract the shoulder blades. So that means widen the shoulder blades kind of without rounding the back. Back is still in neutral. You got it. Inhale here. Now, could you guys feel your core engage here? Like if you were to exhale and just draw the ribs in and then feel that core stabilize. Okay. Then inhale again. And as you exhale, would it be possible to maybe lift that right leg a little bit? And then inhale, put it back down. And just see how that feels. Okay. You don't have to lift it high. For me, it's almost impossible to keep my hips square and lift the leg. So don't worry about that. Okay. Just a little lift. Good. And now bringing that leg back down to the floor and let's just cat and cow with the leg out to the side. If you want forearms, you notice how this feels through that right, those right adductors. Those are the inner thigh muscles. Good. And next time you lift the tail, could you tuck your back toes under behind you? Yeah. And then wait for an exhale and see how it feels to keep pressing your right foot into the floor as you just try to sit all the way or part way back toward the foot and then come back up and just repeat that. Notice what you're doing through your neck. Like, can you relax your neck more? Are you getting tense anywhere? Softening your jaw. And then the next time you rise back up, just slowly bring that leg behind you and then bending both knees, either sitting back to child's pose, or you can tuck your toes and lift the knees coming into downward facing dog. And just notice what your body wants here. And take 2 really wide inhales and long exhales, letting your jaw relax. Good. And then let's meet back in our tabletop. Remember, you can be on forearms if it's better for your wrists right now. We're going to get into a structured tabletop with our core engaged and our shoulders protracted. And then when you're ready to, you can begin to inhale, bringing that left knee up toward left shoulder bent. And then exhale as you start to bring it over to the right, straightening the leg, toes to floor. And just repeat, moving in your own time. You can move your eyes to look toward the left when the knee comes up and then to the right when you extend if you want to. Good. Now, next time that you take it out to the right and just leave it there and breathe, notice where your neck wants to look. Relax your jaw. And then as you take an exhale, slowly just bringing that leg around and then out to the left. And if you can, press the foot into the floor. Feel those adductors turn on, and you can be cats and cows here whenever you want. And then leaving the tail up, if you can, tucking the back toes, pressing that left foot into the floor as you start to sit back a little or a lot towards your heel, and then rise back up and repeat. The next time you come up, let's try just a little bit of a lift with this leg. Okay, so you can inhale here and then exhale, left leg, and you can try it and see how it goes. When you're doing it, the key is I don't want you to get all caught up in your neck, right? Or your shoulders. So if you feel like you're doing that, maybe just think about lifting it. Right? Just start to engage the muscles, but don't actually do it. Right? We don't want to create more constriction in our bodies during yoga, unless it's good strength that we need, but not like clenching anywhere. Okay. And then after you try the next one, just bringing it down, and then we'll bring it back behind us again, either child's pose or downward facing dog, or anything else that your body feels like it wants right now. Feel free to move around and take a couple of conscious breaths. So I know for me in my yoga practice, sometimes if you're concentrating too hard, right, thinking about something too much, you end up holding your breath. So just noticing when that happens to you, if it does. Good. And then we're going to come back to our tabletop again. Now I'm going to show you how to do this on your forearms too, in case anybody's wrists are not loving this. So what you can do, if you want to do it on your forearms, you don't have to, is you're going to take your blocks and just put your forearms on them. So it's like now these are your hands, right? And you would have your elbows right below your shoulders. You can do this with like that, or stay on your hands. Okay, so see what you prefer. What we're going to do is inhale, take that right leg back and up off the floor. But can you square the hips? Yeah, so keep turning that right hip down. Good. Inhale here and exhale here. Now, inhale, could you open that right hip to the right? And then exhale, close it back, square it again, and repeat. So again, this is kind of a half moon pose. So these we call moon rises. And you'll see when we get on our feet and we experiment with it, you want that left knee below your left hip. Does that make sense? Some people look like the left knee might be a little behind their left hip. I want to stack the joints. It makes them a little stronger when they're stacked on top of one another. Good, you guys. Now, let's bring it down. Just bring the foot down and bring it in. And if you're on forearms, you could stay on forearms, and we'll do the second side. So just inhale, straighten the leg and lift it. Try to square the hips. Feel your core supporting you here. Okay, get out of your neck and your jaw. And then when you're ready, you could inhale, try opening the hip, and exhale, closing it. And just notice how that feels in your own hip joints. You know, how are your hip joints moving? Is one a little stuck? Does the bottom one feel like it can really support you? Both hips, you know, have that, of course, they're the same with the ball and socket, right? And on both sides right now, they're rotating. Can you feel that? Both of them are having to move to make this happen. Good. Next time, You close the hip, take a break. You might like to stretch out, since a lot of you are on your forearms right now, you might like to stretch out to puppy dog pose. They're just reaching the arms on the floor, hips stay high, head bows down between arms. Arms can be however they feel best, straight or bent, breathing. Good, and then let's rise back up. Structured tabletop again. This time, if your wrists are okay, I would say be on your hands, but you can be on forearms too. You just won't do the arm part, okay, if you're doing forearms, all right? So from here, our first step is we're gonna inhale, take that right leg up. Now get your core engaged, square the hips, and maybe you can bring your left arm forward. So hunting dog pose, good. Get out of your neck. Use your core. Maybe you could exhale and bring the left arm out to the left and right leg forward. And then go back, inhale, back. And then try it again. Inhale back. Notice what's going on with your neck. And then come down for a break. Okay, knee down, arm down. You can stretch back to down dog or to puppy for a moment. We're just taking a breath break. And now let's go for the other side. Tabletop structured, core engaged. And when you're ready, inhale, left leg back and up. And if you want to add in the arm, you could add the right arm forward. Now, I always tuck my bottom toes for a little extra support. Just helps me balance. And when you're ready, if you want to try the movement, you can. Exhaling. Just try not to go into that left neck area. Try to hold yourself up more with your core. 3 movements. And then back to center and down. Taking a break. You can do whatever you want. For me right now, what I want, because I always go into my neck. That's why I say that so much, but I'm rolling my shoulder blades. I'm just kind of moving them around. Good. Let me show you what we're going to do next while you guys take a break. Okay, so I'm going to start on my hands. I'm going to inhale, take my right leg back. And then I'm going to exhale. I'm going to try to open that right hip like we did in the moon rises. And I'm going to see if maybe I might be able to balance. Now, you don't have to be able to balance, okay? You could just do the opening and try to hold and just think about balancing, like kind of a tapping, right, down. Want to stay out of your neck, right? I want to be here. If you wanted to be on forearm because your wrists are just not having this, it's gonna be just a little tricky, right? You might be like this, open, but you can do it, okay? It's just a little bit, it actually should be easier, right? You have more points on the floor. Let me try it on the floor. Just a big opening for the shoulder, okay? So just see what works for you. Let's try. All right, so choose your own adventure, whether you want hands or forearms. Inhale, get your structure of your tabletop. Let's exhale to take the leg up. Engage your core, inhale. Now exhale, let's open the hip. Back toes are tucked, and just see about, could you gently start to lift that right hand? Maybe it can go to the ceiling, or maybe it comes to your hip, or maybe it taps the floor again and again. Just don't hold your breath if you can help it, okay? Keep breathing. Half moon pose on our knee. And then when you're ready, exhale, come on down. Good. Take a break, move around however you need to. And we'll try the other side, okay? When you're ready, get the structure of your tabletop and your core engaged. Stay out of your neck. Exhale, lift that left leg. Inhale. Back toes are tucked. Exhale. Let's see if we can open the hip to the side. Right shoulder blade is away from the ear. And then perhaps you can begin to open the chest. Hand could come to hip or up. Keep rolling that right shoulder blade away from your ear, you guys. Really nice. Yes. And then could you come back down with control? Yeah, it can come down, but maybe not with control, right? If your wrists are bothering you, you could roll them around a little bit, right? You could stretch back to down dog or child's pose. Good. Take 2 breaths. And we're going to meet. So if you're in down dog, you can walk hands and feet together. If you're not, just getting into a forward fold toward the front of your mat. Find your blocks, get them up there. And let's inhale to extend the spine forward. Yeah, you can take hands to your knees if you want to. And then exhale, let's sit like we're sitting in a chair. And then inhale, let's stand up, reaching way up. And exhale, arms out to the sides and down. Good, just feeling your feet on the floor, your head reaching toward the ceiling. Pause for a moment. You can even let your eyes close. Tadasana or mountain pose. Is there anywhere where you could soften here? Maybe your eyes, maybe your jaw, maybe your mind. And as you bring your hands, either you could bring them together in front of your chest if you want to, or on your chest, or they could stay at your sides. Let's come back to your intentions this morning. Just a little reminder for yourself. And as you're ready, you can let your arms come down. And let's inhale to reach them back up toward the ceiling. And exhale, we're going to bend the knees as you forward fold. Let's inhale as you take your hands above your knees or to your blocks and reach your chest forward. And then exhale, we're going to take the left leg back and drop the knee down. So I'm placing my blanket there for padding. Okay. And then inhale, rise up to a half kneel. So back hip over knee and tuck the tail forward so you can feel the stretch in the front of the left hip. Good. Wait for your breath, and on the inhale, if you want to, you can reach the arms up and spread the fingers wide, but keep tucking the tail forward so you're getting that left hip flexor. Good. One more breath here. And then as you exhale, let's bring the hands down and take them to your blocks in a lunge. Good. You can walk that right foot forward if you need to. Let's engage the left glute. Good. Inhale, shoulder blades away from ears. And as you exhale, you're going to press into that right foot and lift the sole of the foot off the floor. And we're just going to keep moving between these two. You can use your blocks if you want to. You kind of walk them forward, inhale, back to a lunge, shoulder blades down your back, and exhale, runner's lunge, coming back. Good, you guys, move at your own pace and however you want to, adapt it for your own body. Good. The next time you come forward towards your lunge, let's exhale to take our hands down to the floor to step that right leg back. You can come into a modified plank pose with your tail tucked and your glutes engaged, or a full plank pose with your feet on the floor, knees up, either one. Okay. Shoulder blades away from ears, but wide. Glutes engaged, inhale again. And you exhale, you can bend the knees, lower yourself down to the floor. And inhale, bringing your hands forward for either Sphinx or Cobra pose, engaging your glutes. And exhale, lower back down. Placing your hands back for a push-up, let's inhale, move shoulder blades down your back. And exhale, draw your abdominals in and press back up to your modified plank and back to your downward dog or your child's pose. And let your neck relax, let your jaw relax. Maybe take a sigh, feeling your feet and your fingers, your all 10 toes and all 10 fingers. And then when you're ready, we're going to be inhaling to bend the knees and exhaling to step the left foot forward. You can do that by coming down to the floor first if you want, and then rise back up. So your back hip is stacked over the knee. And then exhale, tuck the tail forward, engaging your right glute. Good. And inhale, if you want to, you can take the arms up, spread the fingers wide. Keep breathing. One more breath here. And slowly bringing the arms down. They can come to your blocks if you want. Bringing yourself forward into a lunge. So keeping that right glute engaged, we'll start moving on an exhale. So we'll exhale, come back to your runner's lunge. You can let the foot come up. And inhale, migrate forward, shoulder blades down back. As you guys, and just repeat your own timing. And thinking of the purpose of these movements is just to build self-awareness. So there's no ideal way to do it, but exploring your own body, trying to know what your body needs. Maybe be a little adventurous at times, exploring new ways to move. And now the next time that you come forward to your lunge, pause. And when you're ready to, we'll lift the back knee off the floor. And you can use your blocks to help you to exhale and step that leg forward next to the other foot. And inhale, let's extend the spine forward. And if you can take your weight toward the balls of your feet. And as you exhale, let's sit like we're sitting in a chair. Yes. And then inhale, let's reach the arms up and then stand. And exhale, you can bring your palms together if you want and bring it down. Inhale, let's reach up again. And exhale to fold. Inhale to reach your spine forward. And exhale, let's take the right knee back this time and drop it down to the blanket if you're using it. Inhale to rise up and find that tuck of the tail. We're going to leave the arms down though. And this time we're going to exhale and lunge any amount forward, right? Without the hands, right? Just kind of come forward and inhale back up. So you can let the knee come over the toe as long as it doesn't hurt the knee. Right? It's actually important to be able to have that strength as long as you're not having pain. Okay. So I'm trying to match my hamstring a little more to my calf. This side doesn't hurt at all. So I'm totally fine on the side to come forward. And then I'm going to add in reaching my left arm forward and twisting my chest to the right. And so it's like, you think like you're trying to get something, reach for something way forward. I mean, you can even, if you want to, you can even try to lift that back knee off the floor and get a little further forward if you want. Just keep breathing. Good. Good, you guys. Now, the next time you come forward, let's bring the hands down. And inhale, step that left knee back, either to plank pose or modified plank pose. Notice how your body's feeling here. Engage your glutes. Engage your core, feeling like you're moving your armpits back towards your waist. And then when you're ready, you can drop to knees or come straight down, exhaling. And inhale to any kind of cobra or sphinx. Engage your glutes. Exhale to lower. Inhale to place your hands for a push-up, moving your shoulder blades down your back And then exhale, draw the ribs and belly in and press up. Can go to plank or modified, and then back either to downward dog or child's pose. Taking a couple of breaths there. Feeling all 10 fingers pressing down. When you're ready, inhaling, bending the knees, you can bring them all the way to the floor, or you can step your right leg forward from here. And then exhale, drop the knee. Inhale, rise up to your half kneel, and then beginning the movement. Exhale, lunging forward. You can see how this side feels in your body to do this. You can add in the reach and twist at any time. And just make it your own. You can move your foot around to a different spot. You can go as shallow or as deep as feels right to you. You can even lift the back knee if you want to. Let's see if you can keep breathing. Right. And then the next time you come forward, let's come forward into a regular lunge. You can find your blocks, take an inhale. And then as you exhale, lifting the back knee and stepping forward. And you can move your blanket off your mat if you're using one. And inhale to extend your spine forward. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, rise. Exhale, arms down. Good. Inhale, just relaxing your shoulders. And exhale, we're going to step out to warrior two pose. So stepping your right leg back to warrior two pose. And I'll come around the room in here so you guys can see me. So right leg back, left knee bent forward. Okay. Yeah, you can face whatever direction you want. And then let's reach the arms up. Kick that right heel back a little bit. So the heel is back further than the toes, and see how that feels. Good. Now inhale here. What we're going to do is look towards your left hand and see how it feels to exhale. Slowly lift the back heel, bringing your right arm forward. So you're squaring your hips. And I just drew my left elbow back straight like this. You guys just went like this with my left elbow. Yes. And then I'm going to inhale and exhale. Can you go back to your warrior two? Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. Move between the two. Okay, so we'll inhale and then exhale. Slowly start to lift the back heel. Remember, bring that left elbow back. Good. And then inhale and exhale, open up. Good. Inhale. Exhale. It's almost like you're drawing a bow back. And then inhale. Good. Move on the exhale. I guess I moved on that inhale that time, didn't I? Yeah. Good. Okay, now, next time that you move towards your crescent lunge, right? Here, inhale. Then exhale, could you stand up and bring that right knee forward and up? Good, inhale. Exhale, can you just step that right leg back, crescent lunge? Good, inhale. Exhale, stepping it forward. Inhale. Exhale, go back. Good, let's bring the arms down. Good, inhale. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale. Exhale back. Good, you guys. Now, exhale, step it forward and pause. Now you can do this with arms down or up. I'm going to show it with it up. Okay, so I'm going to inhale, bring my arms up. And I'm going to exhale. Can I start to go toward warrior three? Your hands could stay down. They don't have to come up. Inhale. Exhale, back to your standing on one leg. Inhale. Exhale, warrior three. I'm going to show it with hands on my hips. It'll be way easier with hands on hips, okay? So we're moving on the exhale. We're pausing on the inhale. You could always bring that foot down for a rest at any point, okay? Let's just do one more. And this next time we bring that leg back for warrior three, can you find your blocks? Good, so bend the standing leg enough so that you can square the hips toward the floor and reach your chest forward. Yes, inhale here. Exhale, can you place that right foot down on the floor? Bend the right knee. Come onto the front heel. Yeah, like this, you guys. Ready for the people in the room? Yeah, so bend that back knee if it doesn't hurt. And you're stretching, it's kind of like a runner's lunge. Yes, and then bring the blocks forward. Inhale, lift the leg. Exhale, bring that back toes down. Walk your blocks back, bring the back heel down, bend the back knee, stretch over the front hamstring. Good, keep going. So inhale, walk the blocks forward, lift the leg, reach chest forward. Exhale, toes down, walk blocks back, hamstring stretch, lift the front toes. Good, keep going. See if you can stay out of your neck. Move at your own pace, modify it however you want to do it. Okay, next time that you come forward to your block supported warrior three, let's pause. Okay, remember you can always put the toes down on the floor. Can everybody move your weight to your left heel? Yes, you might need to walk the blocks back and bend the knee more. Could you take your right hip and open it to the right on the inhale? And then exhale, close it. Yeah, same thing we did on the floor. Are you breathing? Good, can you keep reaching your spine forward? So you might need to bend that left knee more. Good, now if you want to, you can keep that right hip open and maybe take the right hand off the block and come into half moon, but you don't have to, you can stay where you are, okay? You can do something else too, keep breathing. Good, and when you're ready, bringing hand back down if it's up, closing the hip carefully, bringing the right foot next to the left. Inhale, reach your spine forward. Exhale, sit like you're sitting in a chair. Inhale, stand. Exhale, arms out and down. Yeah, good. And then just stand for a moment. Maybe roll the shoulders. How are you guys doing? That's hard, huh? It's demanding. Yes, it's demanding. Here, you want me to turn this down? Okay. Okay, let's go. You guys can always, yeah, you can always tell me, okay? You can just say, turn the heat down. Okay, because you know me, I like it hot. All right, shake it out a little bit. Notice how you feel, all right? Nice work, everybody. Yeah, all right, let's do that whole thing on the other side, okay? So you can do it, all right? So you're gonna have your blocks ready up front, right? You're gonna inhale, stand tall. You can face whatever way you want, but exhale, take that left foot back and turn to the left, so you're in warrior two pose, okay? Good. Then bend that front knee and just find your warrior two. Kick the left heel back, see how that feels. Okay, inhale here. Now exhale, we're pivoting toward the right, lifting that left heel to do it into crescent lunge. Oh, I forgot the arrow pulling back, right? I pull my right arm back. Good. Inhale there, and then exhale back to warrior two. Good, and you just move in between those two. You can move if you want just on the exhale, or you can choose one of the poses for the inhale and one for the exhale. I promise we will finish somewhat on time, which just might be a couple minutes over. Okay, now next time you come to crescent lunge, let's put the arms down. Now we're gonna go between standing on one leg and warrior and crescent lunge. Okay, so we're gonna exhale to lean forward, step forward. You could bring the arms up or you can leave them on your hips. We'll inhale here and we'll exhale, crescent lunge. The arms can stay up or come down. Inhale, exhale, stand on one leg. Inhale, exhale, crescent lunge. Good, now let's change it and come onto one leg to going to warrior three, balancing. Arms don't have to be overhead, they could be on hips, okay? You could do one for the inhale and one for the exhale, or you could move only on exhales. Okay, so see what feels right in your body here. You can always tap the toes down. Good, now the next time you come to your warrior three pose, let's find our blocks. You can always take a break, right? If your hip's getting really tired, and get your weight in your right heel, everybody. So to do that, you wanna bend that right knee a little bit and adjust your blocks. And then can you square the left hip to the floor? Good, I'm really feeling my right hip working. Okay, keep reaching your chest forward. Yes, and then when you're ready, on an inhale, let's open the left hip to the side and exhale, close it. Now, if you're doing this with the recording or at home, you know, I love doing this with my hands on a chair. Maybe I should have told you that for the other side, or even the wall. You get just as much out of it, but it might make it more accessible. Okay, now if you want to keep the hip open, you can. And you can keep your arms just as they are, or you could put just your right hand down and start to turn open into half moon pose, chest and belly maybe opening to the left. Maybe the left arm comes up or stays on your hip. Just keep breathing. Feel all that strength you're creating through your hips and stabilizing with your core and your breath. And then when you're ready, slowly exhale, bring the hand down and close the hips carefully, bringing the feet next to one another. Let's widen the feet this time. And if it's okay on your knees, you can start to come into a squat, malasana, so a lower squat. Now, if this doesn't feel good on your knees, what you can do is stack up some blocks and sit instead, okay? Or you could come down to the floor. Good, your arm, you can be rounded, you can be extended. See what feels good to you here. Let's take 2 more breaths. Good, and 1 more breath. And then slowly you can have a seat in a way that works for your body to get down there. Oh, nice, and let's take your right knee forward and your left leg back in a side seat. They do not need to be at 90 degrees, but they could. All right, so your right leg forward, left leg back. So here's an option. Option 1, turn your chest towards your knee and fold. Option 2, instead of that, come onto your back in figure 4. Okay, you can even put your right foot on a block for figure 4. Okay, so just see what feels right in your hips and knees. Let your jaw relax, let your face relax. And let's try slowing down our exhales now. So let's take an inhale for maybe a count of 4. And see if you can exhale for a count of 6. You could blow out through pursed lips, or you could just use your Ujjayi breathing. Two more. And then when you are ready to start to come out, if you're folded forward, just taking it slow, hands to floor. If you're in figure 4 on your back, you could stretch the leg up and then uncross. If you're seated in a side seat, just switching sides. If you're on your back, switching sides. And if you're seated, turn chest toward knee, inhale, and then exhale, fold. You could always use a block for your forehead if you want. Just letting your shoulders relax, letting your jaw relax. And again, practicing that extended exhale, which down regulates the nervous system. Let's take 2 more slow exhales. And then if you're seated, just slowly coming up. And if you're on your back, you could stay there coming out. And if you're seated, just bringing your leg around and then slowly lowering yourself down. And you can get any props you know you're going to want for resting. Okay. When you calm down, why don't you choose any movement or pose that would feel good? That might be a knees to chest. That might be a twist, right? So just noticing what you'd like here. Or it might be something completely different. Okay, so any last poses that your body wants, and then you can find your way to a restorative pose. So it can be Shavasana, it could be constructive rest, or it could be something else of your choosing. Let's turn this back up, guys. Whoops. And let me know, just give me a little wave in the room here if there's some prop you want brought to you, something you don't have that you'd like. And then once you get there, maybe give yourself a sigh, letting go. Letting your eyes soften if you can. And so sometimes, some days it's just kind of hard to relax, right? And other days it's easy. And sometimes relaxing can be the hardest part of the yoga practice, right? So checking in with yourself today, and maybe you stay with a long exhale if your mind feels really busy or your nervous system feels amped up. And then if you can just completely let go of effort, including with your breath, that can be a really nice practice. Just letting go. Don't have to do anything at all. Allowing yourself to release to gravity as much as possible. Even around your eyes and your forehead, your jaw. You can be here as long as you'd like, especially if you're on the recording. But even if you're in the room, you can stay here longer. Or if you know that you need to get moving, you can start to wiggle your fingers or your toes. Just check in briefly. Notice again with the koshas, right? Our layers of self. How does your physical body feel right now? How do you feel energy-wise or vitality? And notice your breath come in and out. And then how do you feel mentally and emotionally now? You can always set an intention for the way you want to feel for your day. And I'll end our session with the sound of Om, and I'll let you guys come out in your own time. Okay, I'm just going to inhale and then Om. Inhaling. Om. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good week. Thank you.